August 2026. So here's what I'm doing as of now. Because look, I've been trading every single day since 2025 January 1st. And I was trading before that, but I wasn't really taking it very seriously and I wasn't able to just kind of focus on day trading. Okay, so since beginning, I started with nothing. I just started hoping that I would learn as I went and keeping an open mind, right? So it's led me to a few things that I like, and it's important to find a trading strategy that you like. There's so many strategies out there, so it's important to just find one that you truly have faith in and one that you truly enjoy the process of. Okay, so here's where I am right now. I'm only trading. So I'm in Texas, so this is Texas time, which is Central Standard Time. I trade from 9:30 to 11:30 right now. So that's only 2 hours. And I like only trading for 2 hours because you clock in, you do your work, and then you clock out, and your performance is what depends on if you'll make money or not. It's not like how many hours you trade. It's your performance within the window that you've decided to trade on. The next thing I like, the thing I love about trading, is I love aligning a higher time frame momentum with sort of a middle intermediate term time frame momentum. And then I have the execution time frame where you actually take your trades and the trade will work out, and then you'll either get a win or a loss, doesn't matter. So right now that looks like a 1 hour and then a 15 minute and then a 3 minute. That's just what it looks like right now. 1 hour and then the 15 minute, and these are two time frames of momentum. And then after these two are in sync, when these two are doing the same thing, I then use the 3-minute chart, or maybe the 2-minute chart sometimes. Okay, sometimes the 2-minute chart. But I use the 3-minute chart for my entries, for my 1-to-1. I try to do a 1-to-1 ratio. You win $1, you lose $1. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So after 2 years, almost 2 years of trading every day, these are the things that I love the most. So we're going to look at how that plays out in the market. And if you would have traded these main ticker symbols that I trade, would you have made money today? Would it have worked out? So we're going to start at the top of the list. Here's the entire list. Okay, this is the main stage list that I have right now that I look at throughout the market every day. There could be more, like for example on my secondary list I have other ones that are kind of main stage, but not really. I just stick to these. And these boxes denote the time slot that I'm telling you about, from 9:30 to 11:30. So I'm only trading within that time frame, right? So we'll start with Palantir just for example. So we want the 1 hour momentum and the 15-minute momentum to be going the same direction. That's what we want. So we go to this 9:30 mark. What's happening? The 1 hour is telling us to look for shorts, but the 15-minute is not anywhere near aligned yet. It doesn't begin to start aligning until around here, around 11 o'clock. It still hasn't flipped over, it's just sort of aligning in terms of momentum. So it never flipped over, so it was never in full alignment. So there was not a setup in Palantir today. There just straight up was not a trade for that system I'm talking about. Now right here, this little spot right here was sort of obvious. Why? Because we're rejecting off of the fair value EMA line, and the 15 is aligned, and we do have some momentum going on right here. See the expanding holding momentum. So entering off of the 84 EMA, this rejection block right here, this sort of rejection candles bouncing off, that would have been a nice trade for a 1-to-1. And there was no official trade in Palantir today, so we can't call it a win or a loss. I was just breaking down the price action here. Okay. Because by the time this trading window ended, we had not crossed over yet on the 15, so there was no true alignment. Now we're in kind of true alignment territory, but we don't get another continuation until later in the day, which is outside of this window. So Palantir had no trade today. NASDAQ, NQ. Here, by the time 9:30 approaches, we're here at 9:30, and by the time this happens, the 1 hour hadn't finished flipping over yet. So by the time the 1 hour flips over to the green, we're here. By the time this happens, the 15 is now selling off. So this is my way of saying we didn't have another alignment. We had no alignment in NASDAQ today either. 0 trades. Now, I marked this one and it would have been a loss, but I just wanted to tell you that this wouldn't have been an official trade. Why? Because the 1 hour had not printed and confirmed that the momentum was bullish yet. That didn't happen until here. Now the 1 hour has confirmed. And then by that time, what's happening? The 15 is selling off. So we have no alignments during this window. So far, Palantir brought no trades. TQQQ or NASDAQ brought no trades. So we go to Tesla. Tesla was telling us to look for shorts because it's in the red. So now we're waiting for a 15-minute expansion or holding in the red territory. And that flip over happens here. And then we get a momentum realignment right here. Going up, realigns to the downside right here. Even though it's subtle, that isn't a realignment and momentum. So that happened at 11:15 today. And that was one win. We go to S&P. S&P ES. Now, S&P ES at 10:12, we had a crossover that was about to occur. The crossover to the downside on the 15-minute. We had choppiness, obviously. See how you can see visually, you can see the momentum choppiness. But regardless, just walk through this with me, okay? Look at the 15-minute momentum right here. So look at the 15-minute momentum, okay? We confirm that we have a red crossover on the 15-minute momentum. And that's good because our 1 hour is telling us what? To look for shorts. Okay. By the time this happens, by the time we confirm the crossover, which happens now, it's been confirmed. Now we look for the next momentum realignment, which is technically right here to the downside. Which is right here in 6 more minutes at 9:54. Right here. And that would have been a loss. Absolutely would have been a loss. So we mark that. And then it just stinks because this next one that occurred right here at 10:12, that one actually would have been a win, which is right there. Now, we'll count the first one because we only take the first trade. That's another thing I forgot to mention, is only taking the first trade, the first occurrence of the day. So this is a loss, right? So we have a loss and we have a win. So right now we're break even because Tesla and SPY both presented trades. One was a win, one was a loss, and the other two, they didn't present any trades. Now we go to Amazon. Did Amazon present us with any opportunities? So by the time our trading window opens, we're looking for longs. And then we wait for the 15 to cross over, which it has crossed over now. Hasn't confirmed yet though, but now it's confirmed. And by the time it confirms, we don't get another realignment on the 3-minute on the time frame of execution, the 3-minute. And by the time we do get a realignment right here at 11:03, the 15 has crossed over against us. So we had no setups in Amazon today. Nvidia telling us to look for shorts on the 15-minute has crossed over already. Right at 9:30 when this trading window begins. And then our first realignment occurs right here. We have a minor pullback. Minor pullback, realignment to the downside. And that trade would have been a win with a 1-to-1 structure, using the candle as the structure. So now we are up 1 because Tesla was a win, SPY was a loss, and Nvidia, that first trade right there, first and only, that's what we do, first and only, we don't take the second or third trades. That was a win, so now we are up 1. Now we go to Meta. Meta's telling us to look for shorts during our trading window, so now we want to wait for this 15-minute to align, and the 15-minute does align later on. Right now it's aligned. See how it's flipped back over to the red? So now we wait for a realignment on the momentum of this execution time frame, which happens right here at 10:36. And it was almost a loss, but it was not. It was in fact a win. So now we are up 2 wins on the day, up 2R on the day. And then the final one is Apple. Apple's telling us to look for shorts, and then we wait for the 15 to hold or expand, which it's doing already. So we're just looking for that next realignment and momentum. We're looking for it, and it happens right here at 10:03. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would have been a win as well. So that means we would have been up 2 or 3R on the day, which is good. If you're only trading 2 hours a day, and you're only taking a few trades, maybe 5, 6 trades at the most, 7 trades at the most, and you end up the day 2 or 3R, that's a wonderful day. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. Still a work in progress. But either way, I hope you have a good one. Take care.